So in this video, I'm going to show you how to upload your HTML files for your website onto Hunter's server via Cyberduck. And the first place I'm going to have you go to is our MedP150 WordPress website. And if you go down to Helpful Tips and Documents, I actually have an Accessing Your Website Remotely page. And this is where you're going to find two very important links that are going to help you connect to the server. The first thing I want you to do, if you haven't already, is download Cyberduck. If you click that link, you're either going to download Cyberduck for Windows or Cyberduck for Mac. And it's free to download Cyberduck, just to note that. So once you've downloaded Cyberduck, and you have it open, which here is what Cyberduck will look like when it's open. And to get to this, if it doesn't automatically do it, go File, New Browser in Cyberduck. Okay, that's my website. The second part is, and maybe I should make this more apparent on the page, is this link is going to lead you to a document that's going to describe step by step how to access your files remotely with Cyberduck. So let's start. So we have Cyberduck open. The second step is to open connection, which is, it looks like this globe with a plus sign here. And with this drop down menu, we're going to go SFTP. That's the transfer protocol we're going to use. Don't worry about what that means. Just make sure that that's selected when you're connecting to Hunter's server. The port number should be 22. Normally it's defaulted to 22, but if it's not, just make sure it's listed as 22. Whoops, I missed a step. Next, you're going to copy and paste this fmundergrad.hunter.cuny.edu URL into the server spot. Now, this is saying we're trying to connect to Hunter's server using port 22. The next step is putting in your username and password. And this is the username and password you used in our lab to connect to the computer. So it's your last name, first initial, and it auto-filled my password. Now, either you change, hopefully everyone changed their password to something that they could remember. The default password, if you didn't change it, was welcome 2020 with a capital W with no space in between welcome or 2020. Here, maybe I can I show you? No, it doesn't let me show you. And so the next thing we're going to do is, and oh yeah, you can add to keychain so that it remembers your password. And we're going to connect. It's going to give you this window. Don't worry about it. It's sort of alerting you that you're connecting to something. Just say allow. Now you should get the same folders that you would if we were connecting to the computers in our lab. So remember, this sites folder is where you're going to be placing everything, because within the sites folder we have our MedP50 folder, which is your website folder. And if I toggle this down, it looks like I have something built here. In order to see your website, remember you're going to have to go to you're going to use this URL, fmundergrad.hunter.cuny.edu tilde last name first initial the folder medp150 /index.html, which is the root page of your website. I think it's also listed here on this document. So you're going to put in your username, which is last name, first initial. So this is telling me, this link is telling me where to find these files. It's referencing these files here. So the confusing part is that I also have my website, and maybe you do too. I have a website I want to add to the server. It's right here on my desktop. If I open this up and go to my index file, let's compare and contrast the URL links. Here's a link to a website on the internet. This is a link to a local address on my computer. Anything that begins with file is referencing something that's on your computer locally. Now, this is not going, you can view this on your computer because everything is literally right here on your computer. But if you were to send this address to someone else, they will not be able to see anything because everything exists on your computer. You haven't shared anything. The only way to share your website is to add it to a server and create a link that references your website on a server somewhere. Okay? So this is a link to the website I have here. Doesn't look all that fabulous. Here on my desktop is a website I've been working on. So this is a website I've been working on for a little while. It contains my personal work. It's sort of my portfolio website. And I want to replace this crappy website with the one that's on my desktop. So this should be relatively easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this file, or this folder rather. And to do that, select it, action, delete. Okay? Let me do that again. I'm going to select that folder, action, delete. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag this over. It's going to give you another warning. You're going to say allow, and it's going to upload everything that's in that new MedP150 folder from my desktop onto the server. I'm going to give that a couple minutes. Okay, we're back. So now the upload is completed, and now I have my website folder from my desktop onto the server. And I refreshed my URL, and here we are. Here's my website. Ta-da! And if anyone is interested in using this template for a website, let me know, and I can share the JavaScript libraries I use to make this. Okay, so there are two different ways of working and adding new pages. The easiest way is to, when you're ready to add a new page to your website, save it somewhere on your desktop. Like, let's say hypothetically, I'm going to copy this page. Okay, I'm going to put it here. So let's say you've been in Sublime Text, you have your new page for your homework assignment that you want to add. Easiest way is just literally dragging and dropping into your MedP150 folder. It'll take a minute to upload, and that's what's happening here. This page is being uploaded to your MedP150 folder. While that's going, see, we already see that it's just about done and added. That's the easiest way to work. Now let's say you're working on multiple pages and you're doing kind of an overhaul of your entire website. What I would do if you want to do an overhaul of your website and tweak a lot of things, I would take this Med P150 folder from the server and copy it onto your desktop. And then once you've done that, do your tinkering. And then once you like where your website is in the folder, I would delete this. Delete. So that's going to action, delete, and then just replace the entire folder. It will get tricky if you're not labeling your pages correctly. So it's really important to have a numbering system that works for you, or a wording system that works for you. And that's essentially how you would add, first connect to Cyberduck and add and delete pages. And then also you have your, my images are hanging outside in this folder. They should be in an images folder, but they're not. My bad. But yeah, that's where all the content of your website lives.